Sports 910.
Welcome back, everybody. Rocka Minuch, Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910. You can follow Scott on Twitter or X at Scott Wins. That's Scott Wins. Scott, welcome to the show, pal. Are you still Twitter or are you an X guy now?
I've yet to say X because I feel like I'm doing something wrong.
That's a fair assessment.
I just keep saying Twitter.
Yeah. Or you're doing somebody a favor, that's for sure. We want to ignore that whole that whole scenario.
I see myself in the mirror and I think, is Scott at X? I don't know. I'm waiting for the bow.
Exactly. You got it. All right, let's get to some games here then. 4 games that we're going to be handicapping this weekend. And let's start first with number 13, LSU at number 20, Ole Miss, and the LSU Tigers -2.5. Give us the info.
Yeah, guys, I can't back Ole Miss here, and it's kind of the same reason I was talking about going against them last week when they took on Bama, and that's because of, they got one player on offense, really. That's Jackson Dart. And if he can't run or he's held it back a little bit in the passing game, this team really has nothing else going for it. He's the guy that runs the most with this team, and he's obviously the guy who has to, escape pressure when the offensive line breaks down on passing plays to be able to get this team to move the football. And we saw a bad second half by this offense last week. If you do like Ole Miss, then what you're looking at is this LSU defense, which has given up the big play. And one thing that people keep talking about when it comes to Ole Miss, and if they like Ole Miss, here's why, is that they've always got this year this explosive plays metric that points to their offense being really good. Explosive play metrics are basically a lot of colleges gauge it by running plays of 12 yards or more or passing plays of 20 yards or more. But again, when Ole Miss stepped up against a legit defense, all of a sudden those plays went by the wayside. And I know LSU early on, when you look at their loss to start the season, they gave up some big plays in the second half of that contest. But again, I just think they're not diverse enough on offense outside of Jackson Dart to be able to win this game.
Scott, I'm just curious. I think these are words. If not, I'm going to make them up anyway. Do you factor into the Lane Kiffin knuckleheadedness or the numbskullness that he has during games? Does that factor? Do you throw that into the blender? I mean, talk about some gaffes at the end of that Bama game. What the hell are you thinking, Lane?
Yeah, that's got to be a new metric, doesn't it? Knuckleheadedness. I got a guy out here in Las Vegas coaching the Raiders who might fit that real well.
Oh yeah, you're right about that. Yeah.
But I'm telling you, you have to. I think here's the thing. When I look at, I was talking about this on a show the other day. When I look at coaches, I mean the greatest advantage I'll give to a coaching staff over another is a +2, and the least you can do is a -2. I go in between those numbers. Normally, I've got Lane Kiffin, in that even or +1 category.
Mm-hmm.
But man, last week, he's like, maybe I should create a little bit lower scale. That was just ugly sometimes on the field. So I think you have to factor that in. However, he had a lot of self-inflicted pressure on him against Saban and Alabama. So maybe he gets over that for LSU this week. And, of course, you got a coach on the other sideline who's had his issues too. So, it's not like there's a big advantage of the coach.
Well, I think he's got 8 million reasons why he can handle that pressure, Scott. So I just sometimes I wonder. But I'm glad that I could contribute at any point into your into your equation.
Might have to make it -4 now.
Oh, my God. All right, let's go to the second game. Number 1, Georgia, -14.5 last time I looked, Scott, against Auburn.
Well, we won't have to worry about knuckleheadedness from Kirby Smart.
True.
That's one good thing.
That's true.
Maybe some of his players over the last year and a half, but not from him. Outside of that 24-14 win at South Carolina, Georgia's played a soft schedule. We know that, no doubt about it. They've playing a soft schedule this entire year, ridiculous schedule, but we know what they're made of after the last few years of Kirby Smart coaching this team to national championship games and winning those games. But they're undervalued here, in my betting opinion, even though they've had this soft schedule thus far. I expect a bit of a boat race here, guys. Maybe not like we saw at Oregon against Colorado last week, but this Georgia team's averaging 500 yards, 40 points per game. The defense is fantastic and so darn fast. This is the first time this season we've seen Georgia laying basically less than 4 touchdowns. I'm watching Auburn last week. They looked so sluggish at times. against A&M. They were lucky to beat Cal in week 2. I had Cal plus the points. Cal covered. Cal should have won the game outright. They've got no passing game, Auburn. They're a one-trick pony. I think Georgia handles this team pretty easily.
All right, let's go to the NFL, and the Arizona Cardinals, coming off that big upset win over the boys, will go to San Francisco, actually Santa Clara, and play against the 49ers with Brock Purdy at the controls and one Christian McCaffrey and a Bosa kid as well on the defensive side. The line is minus 14.
It's a big line,
It
Scott.
is a big line, but how do you read this one?
I don't care. It's big. It's gonna be an ugly performance, I think. And that's not to knock Arizona. Listen, last week, it's like they were in such a great spot. It almost looked too good to be true with Dallas coming in off of all the hype and the wins they had. And the one thing you got to give Arizona credit for is they're not making dumb mistakes, and they're also playing their butts off, week in, week out with lesser talent. But I think it catches up to them in this game. This number has been as high as 15. It's 14.5 in some books, 14 in others. Only 53% of the tickets as of about an hour ago, though, were on San Francisco from the books that I talked to. So to me, that means that 47% of those bets are on the Cardinals and are going to donate their money to their favorite book this week. The Cardinals, here's the thing about the Cardinals. They get pressure on the quarterback. They really do, but not here. And, I got a couple of angles for you. The Niners are just phenomenal. 10-1 against the spread is their current run when they're laying points at home. They win those games by an average score of 29-12.
Wow.
They're 7-0 against the spread, the last 7 against division opponents. They win those games 31-14. They beat Arizona 38-10 and 38-13 last year. 36-14, 37-14 sounds reasonable to me. I know Debo, I know Ayuk, they're both questionable. I don't think it matters here. And I'm not trying to take away too much from the Cards, man. They're playing hard. Great win last week. Tough spot here. One thing about your boy Brock Purdy, they were blitzing the crap out of him. Was it last week, I guess?
Yeah.
And he was struggling at first. He overcomes that stuff.
Sure,
It must be the tutelage that he got
Absolutely.
when he was younger.
I'm gonna
because he overcame the issues, and all of a sudden his passes are pinpoint here and there, knows exactly when to get the pass out. What a smart guy. I'm serious. I'm not just trying to blow smoke here. I saw that and I'm thinking, wow, he's off mark, man. This blitz has really affected him. Forget about it. After about a quarter and a half, he figured it out.
Scott, they blitzed him 84% of the plays, that being the Giants defense. And he had, like you said, he started to handle it, get the ball out. And then that throw he made to Ayuk on the right sideline for the touchdown, he threw that in a phone booth. He was surrounded in a phone booth. They tapped a couple of love taps to make that throw.
Oh, absolutely. That was a great throw. And then, it's funny, last year when he first got into the lineup, and I remember watching the first couple of the games, and I was doing that show down at the Circa on Saturday nights where we previewed all the football games. And I said, you know what I like best about him so far? He throws the ball away when it's not there.
Yes.
And I was like, that's tough to teach to a young guy just getting the NFL who wants to show his worth to just throw it away. And I said, he's got some of the best incompletions I've seen in the league out of a young guy. And I'm totally serious about that.
Yeah. Well, we talked about that, and he's got Brian Greasy as his quarterback coach to also stay in his there. All right, last game, we got your Raiders at the Chargers. Last I looked, Chargers -5, Scott?
Yes, 5. And don't insult the Raiderettes. I mean, come on,
Scott. Are you getting ready are you getting ready for a lounge act there in Vegas? I'm just curious. You're on a roll, man.
I'm testing with the guys in Phoenix. That's what You know what happened was, guys, I was up late last night. I got totally into because I passed Ryder Cup. I watched a little bit of it.
Yeah.
I was disappointed in the Americans, but they haven't won in Europe since I was in school, basically. But I got locked into YouTube and Don Rickles for about 2 hours last night till about 4 in the morning. So we're lucky I'm not insulting some of these coaches a little bit more today. But Raiders at Chargers, I do know dysfunction when I see it, and the Raiders are so dysfunctional. Now we saw Chandler Jones and the stuff he's going through. He gets arrested last night at midnight, Thursday night, Friday morning. Just been crazy stuff going on in this town since this team moved here. The Chargers have been disappointing because their defense is a little bit worse than I thought. But they came up big last week, late against Minnesota and preserved that win. They don't need to come up big against likely Hoyer or O'Connell if Jimmy G's not able to go, and last check he's not going to play. But just get in position and don't make dumb mistakes. The Raiders get no pressure, guys, on opposing quarterbacks. They've allowed 76 of 99 passing, 7 touchdowns, They've not picked off a single of those 99 passes.
Wow.
Chargers pass block rate going into the metrics, excellent. One of the best in the entire league when it comes to their pass block rate. And Herbert's what, 74%, 6 touchdowns,
Yes.
no picks. I know they don't have Mike Williams. They got still big receivers, and of course they got Kellen Moore calling things offensively. They're 5 points away from 3-0.
Yes.
And one of those losses was overtime. I think they make quick work of a really dysfunctional football team here.
It's always great, pal, when you come on the show, and your Don Rickle lounge act. I think it's got possibilities.
Well, I'm here all week, so be sure to call.
Try the veal.
Tip your waitresses and your servers.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
See you, pal.
Take care, guys.
Okay, there you go. Scott Spritezer. He's presented by All City Towing, and he'll be on stage next week as well. By the way, All City Towing has a whole new fleet of brand new vehicles, and they are looking to hire. So if you're looking for a new gig, like to try something maybe a little different, why not go to allcitytowing.com and search careers? That's allcitytowing.com and search careers. See what you find there. Maybe you're going to like it. They are looking for